Hey folks, it is Vic Noble here with your weekly trade example for Friday, March the 18th, 2011. Man, what a week it's been with so many global developments, in particular the terrible situation in Japan. Our hearts really go out to the people of Japan. This week I want to talk a bit about our London close trade strategy because a lot of people like the idea of taking short-term trade, short-term profits, and if you like doing stuff like that, this is something that you really might want to consider. This past week, Shirley Hudson, who is the resident expert in trading around the London close, had absolutely stellar performance using the whole London close trade strategy, pulling in over 330 pips. This is with short-term trade, and that's like very outstanding. You might remember last week's weekly trade example. If you go back and listen to it, if you haven't, I talked about anticipating an increase in volatilities in the forex and why you should have been expecting an increase in volatilities very soon, because things just got very quiet, as I pointed out. And I've mentioned to those who have our London close trade strategy course that the moves that have happened so far this year at the London close haven't been what they normally have been in the past. Okay, they've been kind of short-lived, stunted moves, and not a lot of pips of profit in them. So, but the deal is, despite all that, on all the pairs that she's traded, Shirley has closed them out profitably for the day over 91% of the time. This is actually since the beginning of 2010. In other words, what I'm saying is less than 9% of the time has she actually had to close out a currency pair with a loss for the day. And you'll see that the losses on those days have been extremely small. Now let me explain something. There are times when these trades are, and after you get in these trades, they go against you, resulting in being stopped out. Okay, but one of the great enhancements that Shirley's made to the technique is the ability to mitigate losses and turn what could have been a losing trade into a winning trade. And she does this over and over. She's just super good at it. Now, I'll show you a real quick example. And this is the U.S. Swissy pair on the 15th, Tuesday the 15th of March, just this last Tuesday. And what happened at the London close time window in here, this is when we look for a trade. We use this thing called the Noble entry technique, and she bought it in here, and look what happened. It just went against her. So she had to get out of it. She had an initial 15 pip risk, but she clicked out of it as it was going against her and took an 11 pip loss on it. And she knew where she wanted to try to get in again to mitigate that loss, which was right down here. It just is incredible how these get picked. At 91.45, that's where she got in again. It went up. She took profit back up at these lows that used to be support, now should be expected to be resistance. So she took 28 pips out of that, moved her stop up and got stopped out for another 17 pips on the way down. So the whole deal was she lost 11 pips here. She ended up making enough pips back here. She ended up 11 pips up total. Positive. What could have been a loss turned into a profit after all was said and done. She does this all the time, and in fact, you know what? I'm going to show you her results right now. This is what she's done here, and I hope you can see this properly. This is her results just for 2011. Okay, and you can see, and this is up until the close of Thursday, yesterday, because I'm recording this before she's finished capping off her results for this week, but they'll be the same or maybe a little bit better after today. But here's all of her trades that she's had this week from the 14th forward here. You can see them all. Really good, and these are averaged, by the way, so that if it says like a 30 pip profit rate here, for example, well, what it means is that we average them so that it's a more fair way to look at them. In other words, she might have made 20 pips on half her position and 40 pips on the second half. Well, we don't say she made 60 pips. We say she made 30 pips average, just to keep it conservative and not overstate the results. And she had a couple of stellar days. One day was 155 pips, another one was 101 pips. So pretty cool. You can see the results up here, and very outstanding. Now, here's the thing. Next Friday, March the 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Shirley and I are going to be hosting a webinar for those who have the LCT course. And this webinar is going to be all about this, mitigating a loss. This is a skill that can be learned. No, it doesn't happen overnight. Okay, what does? I mean, you don't become an expert in anything overnight. So I don't want people naively thinking that you just, read a course, click a few buttons, and you're making money. It does take study. I mean, but is it worth it? It's really worth it. So you've just got to get committed to it. But right now you're going to get an opportunity to seriously fast track your learning. You're not going to have to take the amount of time that it took Shirley or anybody else, because you're going to be able to hear directly from Shirley in this upcoming webinar, where she'll explain in detail how she does this over and over. So if you've been thinking about taking a look at this course, now would be a really good time, okay, because you're going to get to hear firsthand next Friday exactly how it works, especially this mitigation stuff. And by the way, if you can't make it to the live webinar, it's going to be recorded and made available to the members. But I'll just put a link up here. Hang on, like this. Let me just make that bigger here so you can see it. Right there. Go to this website, www.forexmentor.com/London Close, and you can get all the information on it. It's also, there's a link in the body of the email that you got here as well. So go check it out. And there you go. Just some information for you today that I hope was helpful. And that's it. You guys have a great weekend. I'll be back in a week with another weekly trade example. Thanks so much.